So I'm Jim Keys, former CEO of 7-Eleven and Blockbuster, and here with my friend Arbaaz, who is now a sophomore at Harvard. And Arbaaz, welcome. I couldn't be more proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Jim. Excited to be here with you guys today and excited to talk about education.
Yeah, I want to talk about Harvard because Arbaaz asked me to write a recommendation for him a couple of years ago, and I was just super excited. I think I was more excited than you were when you got in. Such great news. But how's it going?
It's going great. The first year and a half has been a really transformational experience. We've got to see so many different things that I've never been exposed to before, and I've got to be able to see a little bit about how important education is in one person's journey to achieving any of the goals that they think about achieving. So I think it's a really important piece to everybody's life.
Awesome. So I want to share with everybody what I think is the reason that you got in. Apart from just being brilliant, yes, I think you really worked hard. I saw you doing things that other students weren't doing, and it's all about differentiation. Throughout life, whether you're on the job or whether you're applying to Harvard, it's about setting yourself apart from others. And you did something really unique. I had a call one day from our boss, and he said, I'm going to do a TED Talk. And I said, well, yeah, that's nice. Where are you going to go do it? He said, no, no, no. You don't understand. I have reached out to the people that do TED Talks. I'm bringing one to my school at Plano High School. And he sponsored, set it up, got sponsors lined up, got speakers, including me, lined up, and pulled off, I think, what was one of the first TED High School talks. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was the first TEDx event in our district's history, and it was super exciting because it taught me a bunch on how difficult it is to plan an event like a TED Talk, and having amazing speakers like Jim talk about Education is Freedom, his upcoming book, was really what differentiated our talk from other talks, because I thought that we had some of the most interesting topics that were able to help students navigate their path future after high school. So I was really excited to have you guys there, and really excited to host that TEDx event at my high school. And what became really successful, we've had over 100,000 views on YouTube now, so it's been really rewarding to see all the results afterwards.
That's awesome. So, I've got to tell you, it was also gave me an opportunity when I was writing your recommendation. I could brag about you having accomplished that, which in the course of someone applying to Harvard, they're mixed in with thousands of others that want to go to school at the same time. And so having things that separate you from the pack, that differentiate you, that show initiative are all part of the equation. And I was proud of you for accomplishing that, and proud to be able to recommend you for the school. I now, by the way, I'm 3 for 3 years in a row. I have 3 of my recommendations now have been accepted at Harvard. And you and my other young friends who are in Harvard now are all living examples of education is freedom, because you took the principles that I was able to share and you live by them. Just basic things like how to learn, what to learn, and why to learn.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I think the concept of education has been important to me throughout my whole life, and I value it very highly. And even in times where education might, in the short term, seem annoying, and doing homework and problem sets is definitely not the most fun use of your time a lot of the days, but you have to put it in perspective in the big picture that while there's a lot of temptations to distract you from education, for me that includes having a startup. I work very heavily on it, have got a lot of offers for funding, and have even thought about the idea of dropping out. But what has kept me going is the fact that I know I need to finish this education, because it means a lot to me to not only get in the first place to Harvard, but also be able to finish, because just getting in is not really what I sought out to do. I wanted to finish the degree, and that's what I plan on doing. So I've seen how important it is, and continue to make that my first priority, that no matter what happens, what opportunities come my way, I know that this opportunity is one that I can't get back and would never trade for anything else in the world. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've got a really important question to ask you. How in the world are you affording this? Because we're all hearing the excuses. Oh, college is so expensive. And when I was going to college, it was prohibitive. You and I share that in common. We both had single moms that were we were living with, you know trying to help them, and they were trying to help us. And college was very intimidating for my mom and for me when I was growing up, and I'm sure it was for you. How do you afford it?
Yeah, so luckily, one good thing about going to a school like Harvard is they tend to have a lot of money in their pocket, and that means that if you can get in, they will make it as affordable as possible for you, so that the deal that you get will be personalized to what your abilities and capabilities are. So for me in my situation, I was lucky enough to be able to get nearly a full ride scholarship there. So I couldn't be more grateful for this opportunity to be able to go to a school that people pay up to $80,000 a year now for, and be able to go there for free and experience these types of things. So I think the battle and the thing that I told myself when I was applying is that as long as you can get in, the rest will be taken care of. So I think the main focus that everyone should worry about is how do I get in, and then you can think about the rest after you get in.
This is such an important point because it's a best kept secret. I sit on the board of my undergraduate school, and the tuition is probably 60,000 a year, but their discount rate, what they call it is the discount rate, is almost 50%. So half of the kids going to school there are getting scholarship money, and some cases a full boat like you are. So what I've found is the better the school, the bigger the endowment, the greater chance that someone like you or me has of getting financial aid and support to be able to go. So it's like this secret that I wish I knew when I was young, and I'm sure you didn't know either. But you've got to strive for the best, because if I went to a community college, I would have had some help, but I probably would have had to pay my own way. Instead, going to a better school, you're able to get a better chance anyway at scholarship support. So that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I've actually been lucky enough to take some classes and read some research of how numerically, and it has literally been researched and investigated, of how your life will change by going to a school like Harvard, where statistically you are more likely to have things like, whether that be higher income, higher happiness rates, and they've studied these types of things to show that the difference a school like that can make in the trajectory of your life. So it literally and will change your life if you can go to a place like that, not just in the sense of being able to move to a new city and attend a new school, but also the opportunities that it affords you, because there's just such a plethora of opportunities available for you at a place like that you will actually be having to turn them down rather than having to seek them out. So
yeah, that's true. But you know what? You mentioned money, you mentioned happiness. There's one thing that's even more important than both, because ultimately Harvard's going to give you freedom. It's going to give you the ability to go anywhere in the world and have a network. It's going to give you a differentiation versus everybody else applying for a job. When you go to a bank for your entrepreneurial enterprise and you want to borrow money, they're going to look at your resume and they're going to say Harvard, and it's going to give you an advantage. So it's all about freedom, and that's what I tried to emphasize in the book. Education is freedom. The better you can do, the harder you work in school, the more freedom you'll have ultimately, really, for the rest of your life.
I agree. Yeah, I think that education definitely will give you that type of freedom, just like you mentioned. A lot of the perks of going to a place like Harvard are not just in the easily researchable factors, but also in the network effects, just like you mentioned. The opportunities that you get access to, for example, you get to meet some of the most influential and incredible people that really do inspire you. In just the past year and a half since I've been there, I've been able to take part in in-person opportunities to see the president of South Korea and ambassadors to countries like Brazil and the UK. So the opportunities you see to meet the types of people that you may want to become one day is just unexcusable. So I completely agree that it gives you the freedom to dream of things that you never really thought possible, especially coming from a public school, or coming from a town where not everyone ends up getting into an Ivy League school. So I think that it really changes the trajectory of your life and opens up paths, just like you said, and gives you that freedom. So
It's awesome. You know, you mentioned whatever you can dream. I've got a sign up there that says "Wish it, dream it, do it," and you're living proof that it's possible. I mean, did you ever think you'd get into Harvard?
honestly, I actually didn't. I had dreamed of Yale for a long time in my life, but I applied there early and I didn't get in. And then later on in the regular round, I got results and I opened Harvard last, and I said right before I opened it that, like, oh, okay, yeah, here's another rejection probably going to be coming. So I opened it, and then I had to look at it twice before I could really believe that it was like an acceptance. So I did not believe that Harvard specifically would be possible, but I did always believe that I had the ability and the capability to get into an Ivy League, but I honestly did not expect Harvard out of the many.
Well, you did, and I'm proud of you, and I can't wait to watch what's next after you graduate. I'm not going to press you on what you want to do. I think I've got a feel. I think there's going to be something entrepreneurial in there, at least for a while. And I'm just excited for you because I know that one thing is true. You are going to continue to be the living example. Education is freedom, and I can't wait to use you as an example in my next book.
Thank you so much, Jim. Yeah, thank you for having me, and definitely super excited to see what the future will hold. And out of courtesy of education, I think that the future is really limitless. So definitely really excited and excited to see the next book come out.
You know, your future's so bright. I'm going to need sunglasses.
Thank you.
Thanks,
for having
Arbaaz.
me. Yeah.